When you're sewing something from scratch, you will need a pattern. Now, whether you use another garment as a pattern or whether you make your own pattern or whether or not you use a pre-designed pattern, you will definitely need one of those things. But when you get a pattern, if you're new to it, it can be really overwhelming as to what all of it means. So I'm just going to show you now, if you've never looked at a sewing pattern before, exactly what everything means and how you can use them. These are pre-made sewing patterns. So when you look at the front of them, that will show you what you can make. Obviously quite self-explanatory. You can get these online. You can, if you go to charity shops, there's usually a corner somewhere that has a load of old ones. And I like the old ones because then you get the old designs and stuff. But they come, there's all different makes, all different types, all different styles. And it's just about finding exactly what it is you want to make. So if you want to make a pair of trousers like that, they don't necessarily have to be in lime green. But if you want to make a pair of stretch trousers like that, then this is the pattern you choose. It's all quite self-explanatory in that sense. But you can get patterns for more or less everything. I've got two huge storage boxes full of patterns, but I wanted to show you this one because this is the one that I've made quite recently, so I know that there will be cutouts in here, because one of the most annoying things about patterns is trying to get them back in the box. It's a little bit like a roadmap. Trying to fold it back up and get it back in after is a nightmare. So we'll use this one as an example, yeah? So when you look at a pattern like this, it'll have A, D, E, B, C, because every pattern, well, usually most patterns have more than one thing in them. It's very rare now that you'll get a pattern in one of these types of pattern packs that just has one thing, because slight tweaks here and there will change something entirely. So for example, this pattern is for a crop top and flare bottom trousers. But you can have a straight waistband, or you can have a V waistband, or you can have a twisted waistband. And again, with the top, you can have it straight across the bottom, or you can have it twisted, or you can have it with holes. So it shows you variations of the same thing. So if you wanted to just tweak things slightly, then you just pick which design you want, because the designs will differ ever so slightly, but the pattern pieces might differ quite a lot. So for this, we're going to work with pattern A. So that's the crop top. You can see A next to it, and it's what the model's wearing. So there's a variation of the crop top there, which is B, but we're going to work with this one. This has a size on it, and most of the patterns will have a size on the front, and this says size extra small to extra large, which means we can cut different sizes from the pattern. Whereas some of the other patterns, for example, some of the older ones, definitely, that has 4 sizes in one. But say this one, for example, we'll just say size 14. So it'll just have one size on it. Whereas this has multiple. So we know that we can cut multiple sizes. Then we're going to turn the pattern over. And on the back, it says suggested fabrics. So obviously this says stretch knit, such as athletic knits, cotton knits, rib knits, see stretch gauge. So in other words, this is designed to be made out of a stretch fabric. So there won't be a fastening. There won't be any way of getting it on other than pulling it on. So we're looking at lycra or something that we know is going to stretch. Then it'll say notions. Notions is all your extra bits, so your haberdashery bits. So if you did have a zip in it or buttons or anything like that, then that would be included there. All we have here is elastic, because there's going to be elastic in the straps or in the waistband of the trousers maybe. So then it says A, 3/4 of a yard of a 1/4 inch wide elastic. So 3/4 of a yard, everything's done in yards and inches, and of a 1/4 elastic. That's what you will need, as well as your fabric. And then underneath here, it has your size guide. So we're with this pattern goes from extra small to extra large, and we can have a look under that. It will say 4 to 6, 8 to 10, 12 to 14, 16 to 18. Because it's stretchy, it's probably a little bit more relaxed on the sizes, but you may get another pattern that says size 14 and it's an exact 14. Obviously, sizes do vary quite a lot. On this one and on most of the other ones, it will also give you body measurements. So it'll say bust 29 to 30 and a half, obviously inches. And so you can see that the 4 to 6 is these sizes underneath. So for example, if I was going to cut a 10, then I would cut a 10, or I'd have a look at a 10 and I'd go, the bust is 31 to 32 and a half, the waist is 24 to 25, the hips below the waist, so kind of where the trousers sit, are 34, 33 and a half to 34, and then back neck to waist is 15 and 3/4 to 16. So you can go, right, well, actually, my measurement's bigger than that, so I'll go for a 12. I would always recommend that you go for a more generous size because you can always take things in afterwards, but it's very, you can't add on and it's very difficult to take out. You end up adding panels and stuff. So just be generous and like use your sizing as a guide, but think, do you know what? If I'm on the larger size, I'll go up a size. Fabric comes in different widths when you buy it. So the selvage to selvage, so the edge to edge, how it's rolled on is the width, and it comes in different widths. This is based on a 60-inch width. It's a very common fabric width. So this is all based on 60-inch, and it says there, so it says top A and it says 60-inch. So we know then that that is based on the 60-inch width, because now it will tell you how much fabric you need for each size. So for example, if we're going down to the 10, it says 3/4. So it's 3/4 of a yard in 60-inch width. I mean, there's very few places now that will sell you 3/4, so you would just buy a yard and have a little bit of excess fabric, or a meter, because annoyingly all dress stuff is done in inches and yards and all fabric seems to be done in meters. So yeah, just again, go up, because then if you make mistakes, you've got more room. Then we don't need top B, we don't need pants C, we don't need pants D, we don't need pants E because we're working on a top. But do bear in mind here where it says worn 1/4 of an inch below the waist. Obviously that's telling you where the finish line of the trousers is going to sit when you've made the product. So that's what the measurements are based on. And obviously with trousers it starts going up. For example, pants E, and then if you go up to size extra large, which is 20 to 22, you'll need 2 3/8 yards. Again, you'd either get 2.5, but again, some places now won't even sell you half, so you'd have to get 3. Always go generous. Don't think that you can skimp, because it's just not worth it. Just get the extra fabric. It's fine. And then your finished garment measurements are down here. So that's what it will end up like. With stretch, it's usually quite close to what the measurements are, obviously, because it sits against your skin. If you have a looser dress or something that has a bit more room in it, then obviously that lines up with that. And then down the side here, just to confirm, it will give you A, B, all the little bits, which gives you a very basic front and back view of your garment. All your patterns have codes on them as well, so you can check your code and make sure that you've got the right one and you're definitely doing the right one. So then we can get the pattern out.